Once upon a time, in the mystical lands, dwelled magical people, each with their own culture and religion. However, as they expanded, they drained the earth of its wealth, and thus soon it came to wars. And in the end, engineers won, wiped them all, and left for the stars. As they landed and met alien races, they thought, it's fine, let's do the exact same thing, but in space this time. Welcome to Gaia Project for Terra Mystica players. Gaia Project is Terra Mystica's successor, and is in many ways similar, but it's even more complex, deeper, and in the end I believe a better game. This video aims at giving an introduction to the game for players familiar with Terra Mystica, focusing on the differences. In a nutshell, here is what you need to know to start playing. There are new resources, there are new neutral planets for which every color compete, there is a new exciting tech board, power token management is completely different in Gaia Project, and finally the setups are more varied. The map is modular, the base text position is randomized, and advanced tech and endgame conditions are fully randomized. First, let's take a quick look at how resources change between the two games. Priests are turned into science in Gaia Project and used to move up the tech tracks. It takes 4 science to move up a track, while a priest in TM could advance 2 or 3 steps in the cult track. Science is very difficult to gather, but also extremely rewarding, as it gets more points and more abilities than TM's priests. Keys are now Federation tokens, and not only give access to the top step of tech tracks, but they also are needed to get some special advanced tech which are super valuable. Note that in Gaia Project, the number of planets in your Federation does not matter, you just have to get to a value of 7 power to form them. Spades work the same as in Terra Mystica with a color wheel, but with the important difference that you cannot terraform without building, which changes the dynamic a little. Coins are called credits, and workers are called ores, but they are the exact same thing than in Terra Mystica. Tokens are token, and the mechanic of accepting leech and cycling your power is the exact same. However, there's also a lot of new uses for power token that we will discuss later, and they change the dynamic of how you manage your power a lot. Finally, there's also 2 completely new resources in Gaia Project, the QIC, or cubes, and the Gaia formers. We will talk more about them in a minute. So let's talk about the map and neutral planets. As you see in Gaia Project, the map is much more spaced out and works slightly differently. You can leech from all planets within a range of 2. So for example, that black planet could leech from all planets within this circle. There are also new neutral planets, the green and purple, which have the same terraforming cost no matter your color. That's a great addition, as it adds interaction and competition for board control between opposite factions on the color wheel. These new planets are related to new resources. The QIC, or cube, is a new resource which has 3 uses. It's the cost of colonizing these green planets. It's also a resource that you can spend in order to get an immediate +2 navigation boost. Here, for example, a black player from this planet could jump to this green one for 1 QIC. Then he needs to spend another QIC to colonize it. Finally, the cubes also allow you to take special actions. You can spend 2 cubes in order to score for each types of planet that you have. You can spend 3 cubes to rescore a federation that you've already formed, or you can spend 4 cubes in order to gain a tech tile. Finally, there is the Gaia Former. The Gaia Former is the only way to colonize purple planets. Move your Gaia Former to the purple planets to turn it into a green planet for next turn. That is free of cost to colonize, and that only you can colonize. The most interesting change that Gaia Project brings to the table is the tech board. Now you may never have thought about it, but Terra Mystica factions have tech tracks on their board. Gaia Project's greatest idea is to merge those tracks with the call track and get the tech board. Similarly to TM call tracks, the tech tracks are an important source of endgame points, and actually even more important than in Terra Mystica. In Gaia Project, you are less competing with others though, for you score points for reaching the top 3 steps of each track, no matter what your opponent's progress is. However, there is still plenty of competition, for only one person can reach the top step of each track, and only one person can claim the precious advanced tech on top of each track. Each track gives you some unique ability, with a bonus on top. Terraformation and navigation works as in Terra Mystica. The difference is that in Gaia Project everyone has Fakir's ability and can jump over other planets. Quantic Intelligence gives you the precious QIC. Gaia Forming is the only way to get the Gaia Formers that are used on purple planets in order to colonize them. Economy boosts your credits and ores income. And finally, Science boosts your science income. Roughly speaking, the first 3 tracks plays for fast and wide expansion, and the 3 last tracks imply going tall and playing for the long game. So it gives opportunity for battle of different philosophy on how you should build your economy. Technology tiles replaces favors tiles. As favors, they give you steps on the track, but their position is randomized. So it means that between game to game, you won't climb on the same track while taking the same technology. Those tech tiles will give you different advantages. Some will give you an immediate one-time boost, some will give you more economy, some will give you the ability to form easier federation and to leech a little more, and finally some will give you more points. All base tech have their own interests, so compared to TM where the same favor tiles seem to be picked over and over again, it is very refreshing. Advanced technologies will either give you an amazing economic advantage or different ways to score points, but they are very hard to get. In order to get an advanced technology, you need to gain a tech tile while being on the 4th or 5th step of the tech track in which the advanced tech stands, spend a federation token, cover a base tech and lose its income for the rest of the game. As you see, it's really hard to get these advanced tech tiles. However, they are extremely important and often world strategies will revolve around getting them at the right moment. Power tokens have more use in Gaia Project than in Terra Mystica. These are the following. First, they can be used to take power actions as in Terra Mystica. Second, power tokens are needed in order to Gaia form, that is, transforming the purple planets into green planets. In order to Gaia form, you need to move power tokens in your Gaia bowl. Here, for example, the Terran player wants to place his Gaia former and thus needs to move 6 power tokens to his Gaia bowl. He will get the tokens back next turn after income phase at the same time that the purple planet turned green. Third, tokens are used in order to form federation. In Gaia Project, when you form federation, you need to link the different structures that you intend to use in your federations. In order to do that, you have to build satellites, and satellites are built by spending power tokens. That changes the power management a lot, since burning power is a decision which could prevent you from forming federation in the future. Here, the Taclan players wants to form a federation by linking these 3 planets. To do so, he spends 3 tokens and builds 3 satellites. He can now form a federation. However, those power tokens are now removed from his board for the rest of the game. Setups in Gaia Project have a lot of variability. The map is modular, which is amazing because modular map forces you to think anew the situation every game, as opposed to Terra Mystica's various maps, which favorize a lot of people with experience on these maps. The way it works is that the position of the different tiles is randomly drawn. Then, the last player rotates the sector as he likes. That helps to balance the setup and minimize the disadvantages of picking last. On top of that, the advanced techs are random, and the base techs move from game to game. Finally, in every game, there are 2 ways to score points at the end of the game. Those are randomized from game to game. There is no such thing as network as in Terra Mystica. Connection is never needed, which again means that your one game won't be destroyed by someone else's aggressive moves. If you like TM but will have hope for more room for creativity, in all likelihood you'll love Gaia Project. Gaia Project has some drawbacks. It is more complex to learn and it takes longer than Terra Mystica. It also leaves less opportunity to block others, which some people may or may not like. However, in my opinion, Gaia Project is the ultimate game for people who like to manage resources in an open information lock-free game that rewards deep understanding, while letting you find new strategies every game depending on how you read the context. I hope this video made you curious to try, and by now you should have enough understanding of the rules to jump right into a game. So thanks for listening, and I hope to see you there in the future.